Good morning students. In previous video understand how can we separate solid from solid. We have different method for the separation of solid from the solid. Now we will understand how can we separate solid and a liquid. Suppose we have a mixture of a solid and a liquid and we want to separate it. Then what are the different techniques which we can use for separating them? So we have near about 6 methods to separate out solid from a liquid. First one, by filtration. By filtration, I will explain you later all the methods. Second, we can use centrifugation. So I will explain you all these terms, okay? Centrifugation. Other methods are by crystallization. Crystallization. So I am writing only the methods which we use for separating the solid from the liquid. And next one, by chromatography. Third method I am writing here, evaporation. Evaporation, because I will explain you initially what is evaporation and after that chromatography. So another method by evaporation. These all methods are based actually on this part that different solids or the liquids have different physical properties. So on the basis of this one, we can separate different mixture of solid and a liquid by using any of the method. So next method is by chromatography. In our syllabus we have only one type of chromatography, that is paper chromatography. And next one is distillation. So again I am telling you, we use these methods by we use this method. Actually these methods are based on this principle that all the different substances have different physical properties. So first I am going to explain you filtration. First method is filtration. First we should know which type of mixture we can separate by using this method, that is filtration. Okay, suppose we have a mixture of solid and a liquid and the solid do not dissolve into the liquid. So in case if a solid does not dissolve into the liquid, we can separate out solid by using this method, that is the filtration. You have seen at your home that your mama filter out the tea leaves from tree, prepare tea by using the method of filtration. So in this method in laboratory we use the filter paper. Filter paper is just like a piece of round circular piece of special type of paper which we fold such that so that we can place that paper in a funnel. So we place a filter paper in a funnel by folding the filter paper and then like this. So we place the filter paper. I think I explained you this method in the part of solid separation of solid by solid, in which we dissolve the solid in a solvent and we separate out the undissolved solid from the solvent by using this method. So okay, so in filtration we can filter out the mixture of the solid and a liquid, like we have a mixture of sand and water. So how will you separate sand from the water? It's very easy. You can pour this mixture into the funnel which containing the filter paper, and then what will happen? Since sand is not dissolved in the water, so it will remain as a residue here. I told you that this is called the residue which we get in a filter paper, and this liquid which we get after filtration is called the filtrate. This is called filtrate, and this one is called the residue. So we can separate a mixture of solid and a liquid by using this method if solid is not dissolved in that liquid. So you can explain how can we separate sand from the water. Even the more mixtures like water and a chalk, if we have the mixture of chalk and water, what will we do? We will pour this mixture into the filter paper which we kept on a funnel, and we get water as a filtrate and chalk as a residue on the filter paper. So again, a common example of filtration is when your mama filter out tea and separate the tea leaves from prepared tea. So this is one of the method of by filtration we can separate out different mixture of solid and a liquid. Second method. So first method is by using the filter paper, by using the filtration. Second method is by using the centrifugation. Okay, first you should know what is actually the centrifugation. Centrifugation means if we rotate something with a very high speed. It's not I think that's not so common for you. In centrifuge, we use this method centrifugation by using a machine that is called the centrifuge. In a centrifuge is just like this is a container which contain a different test tubes here like this. It contains test tubes which is hanging here. Suppose we fill this test tube by a liquid which we have to separate, then we will rotate it. It is a machine, so it can rotate itself so that the solid from the liquid can be separated out. So it based on the principle that the heavier particle will be settled down, it will be found at the bottom, and the lighter particle will be found at the top of the liquid. So this centrifugation, for this process of centrifugation we use a centrifuge. This is a machine. This method is commonly used in dairy where we rotate the milk with a high speed and we get this is called the cream, and we get cream at the top of the milk. This method is used in dairy for separating the cream from the milk, and this type of milk which we get after separating the cream is called the skimmed milk. So I think now this time skimmed milk is very common. So this is another method we use for separating solid from the liquid. In this method also the solid particles should not be dissolved into the liquids. This method is not used for the solid which get dissolved in the liquid. Suppose you are going to rotate a sugar solution in this centrifuge, so we will not get sugar and the water separated by each other. So this method is only used for those solids which get suspended into the liquid. Like you have a solution of clay in water. So clay do not dissolve into the water, it gets suspended into the water. You have learned about the suspension. So it gets suspended into the water. If you want a clear water, you want to separate the you can say the clay from the water, then what will you do? You will use this method that is called the centrifugation. In centrifugation, the soil which is heavier than water, which having the high density, will settle down at the bottom, and the lighter water will be found at the top of the mixture. So this is called the centrifugation. Again, it based on the principle that in the mixture different substances have the different densities. We get the substance having the high density at the bottom, and the substance which having the lower density at the top of the mixture. So this is the method we use for separating solid from the liquid. Another method, now example is milk from the cream from the milk. So these two methods are used for those solids which do not get dissolved into the liquid. Now I'm going to explain you the different method which we can use for separating those solids which get dissolved into the liquids. So method is, before crystallization I am going to explain you evaporation. So let's understand what is evaporation. By evaporation, so for the method of evaporation, we can separate those solids from the liquid which get dissolved into it. like for example salt and water. In first part we understand how can we separate salt from the different mixture like salt from sand. We understand that we dissolve the mixture of the salt and the sand into the water, and the sand will get dissolved into the water, and then we will separate out from the sand, and then we know that we have to evaporate the water for getting the salt back. So now we will understand how the method of evaporation can be done. For the method of evaporation, we placed a mixture in a china dish. Actually, we use the china dish in laboratories. It's not compulsory that you will use the china dish for evaporation. You have studied about the evaporation in the first chapter of your chemistry. The evaporation can be done at any temperature. It's not important that the temperature should be of its boiling point. So in evaporation, we place a mixture in a china dish in a laboratory and we heat it. After heating, we know that since the boiling point of the salt is less than the water, the boiling point of salt is higher than the water. Water having the lower boiling point. Most of the liquid have low boiling point as compared to the solid. So since water has a low boiling point, what will happen? It will evaporate first. So water will evaporate and we will get sand here in this china dish, which is left behind in the china dish, because it will not evaporate. It has a very high melting point. So this method we can use for separating the solid from the liquid, which get dissolved into the liquid. So this is one of the example. How can we separate the salt from the water? You have to explain in your notebook how can you separate salt from water. Again, sugar from water. In the first part we learned that the solid from the solid can be separated by using the suitable solvent, in which we have learned that a solid can be dissolved into the one of the solid can be dissolved into the one solvent, but other do not. Just for example, we have taken the salt and sugar. We have learned in the last lecture, but I'm reminding you that we have a mixture of salt and sugar. In this mixture, since we know that if we dissolve both of the this mixture into the water, the both will be dissolved in water. So we'll use alcohol. We use alcohol for separating them, in which we know that sugar will dissolve into the alcohol but salt do not. Then we will use a filter paper for filter out the salt, and the sugar will be left behind in alcohol. Now how will you remove the sugar from alcohol? How will you get back sugar from the alcohol? So you will evaporate it. It means you will place the mixture of sugar and alcohol in china dish or any other apparatus, and after evaporation we found that the alcohol having the lower boiling point as compared to the sugar, so alcohol will be evaporate and we will get sugar here. So this is the method we used for separating solid from the liquid, in which solid get dissolved into liquid. One of the drawback in this method is, if we evaporate a liquid by this method, then we can't get this liquid back, because it get evaporated and it mixed with atmospheric gases, and we don't get we can't get this liquid again. So in this method, the drawback is we can't get this liquid again. We have only the solid substance. So I think it should be clear that in this method we don't recover the liquid. So for recovering the liquid from this mixture, we have another methods. Okay, one more example for separating the mixture is ink. Ink is actually the mixture of a dye in a water. So by this method evaporation, we can get the mixture of the ink, that is a dye, back. But for this method we can't heat the solution, we can't heat the mixture directly on the flame, because this sorry, I write the ice, it is ink, sorry. So I'm telling you that in this In this method, if we directly heat the ink on the flame, it get decomposed. It's same with the sugar. If we heat the sugar in water, just imagine, if you're going to heat a solution of a sugar in water, what will happen? Will you get sugar back? No, it will decompose. So most of the solid get decomposed on heating directly on the flame. So it's for same as for ink, if we directly heat this ink over the flame, it get decomposes. So for this, for if you want to recover this ink, then what will you do? You will not directly heated ink on the flame. What will use? We will use a water bath. Water bath means it contains a water up to the height. This is the water. We know that the temperature of the water cannot be rise more than 100 degrees Celsius, and on this water we use to place the mixture which we want to evaporate. So we are not directly heating it on the flame, okay, because by directly heating we can the temperature of the mixture can be more than 100 degrees Celsius. By using the water as a water bath, we using the mixture on placing in a water bath, what we do actually, we did not rise the temperature of the mixture more than 100 degrees Celsius. So the possibility for decomposing this ink is reduced. So we use the water bath for heating the mixture of ink and water, so that when we heat the water, the temperature will be 100 degrees Celsius at its boiling points, and this temperature, this heat will evaporate the liquid from the ink, and after evaporation we will get the mixture of different dyes, because ink is a mixture of different dyes. So this is one of the method we use for separating the solid from the liquid. Okay, I explained you three methods: filtration. In filtration, this method is used only for those solids which do not get dissolved into the liquids. Okay, so we can use a filter paper for filtering them. Another method we use is centrifugation. Again, centrifugation method is used for those solids which also do not get dissolved in the liquid but get suspended. It means get suspended in the liquid, because the suspension has in suspension the solids have the small size. The size particle of suspension, the solid of suspension is less as compared to the okay, yes, suspension has a large size particle, yes. Okay, so by using this method, centrifugation, we can separate out those solids from the liquids which get suspended into the liquids. Another method is used as evaporation. So evaporation technique we can use for those solids which get dissolved into the liquid. Okay, now the next method is crystallization. So one of the drawback in this method is we can't recover the liquid from the mixture. And one more drawback is, if we evaporate the liquid from the mixture, after evaporation of the liquid, the solid is left behind here which should have the impurities. So it can have impurities, it can have impurities. So if we evaporating a mixture, we cannot obtain a pure substance, we cannot obtain the pure sugar. Suppose we have a mixture of sugar and water, and we have lots of impurities in sugar solution, this sugar and water solution, so we can't remove that impurities from the sugar. So another method in which we can remove the impurities from the solid is called the crystallization. So crystallization is better than the evaporation, because in crystallization we can remove the impurities from the solid. So by crystallization. Okay, one more example for evaporation is, we use this method for evaporating the water from the sea water. For evaporating, if we evaporate the water from sea water, we get salt left behind. Like we placed sea water in a large lagoons. These are called the lagoons, in which we place the sea water, and we left this seawater in a sunlight. By the heat of the sunlight, the most of the water get evaporated, and after the evaporation of the liquid, we get salt here. Though the salt is not pure, it can be purified by different methods, but we get salt by the method of evaporation from seawater. So okay, now I'm going to explain you method of crystallization. In this method, we will get the solid particles in a pure form. Suppose we want to separate sugar from water. So in this method of evaporation, we can get the sugar. Sugar can be decomposed directly by heat, and can be even though it can be possible that sugar obtained has some impurities in it. So in this method of crystallization, we can get the sugar. We can recover the sugar in a pure form. So for example, how we do this process of crystallization? First, we have to make the solution saturated. You have learned about the saturated and unsaturated solution. Saturated solution are those in which more solute cannot be dissolved. So it means if you have a solution of sugar, I am taking the example of sugar and water, sugar plus water. Suppose you have this mixture and you want to separate sugar from the water. Since sugar is dissolved in water, so we can't use the method of filtration and centrifugation. Yes, we can use the method of evaporation, but there is a drawback in this method. So we are using the method of crystallization. So first we will heat this mixture. We will heat this mixture such that we get the saturated solution of the sugar and water. Saturated solution, again, it means in which we cannot add more amount of solute in it. So first of all we will heat this mixture so that we can get the saturated solution of sugar and water. And after that, we place it aside for few hours or few days. After few hours or few days, we will get the crystals of sugar here in the solution. So for the method of crystallization, we have to heat the mixture. After heating, we will get the saturated solution, and by placing the saturated solution for some time, we will get the crystals of a solid. This method is also used for separating the solid from the sugar from the water. Even though the copper sulfate from the water, copper sulfate, this is blue in color, so we can get this the crystals of copper sulfate by this method of crystallization. Okay, one more thing, the impurities which are present in the solution. Suppose this sugar solution have some impurities in it. So in the method of evaporation, we will know that the sugar will be mixed with the impurities here. But in this method, we will get the pure crystals of sugar. The impurities will be left behind in the solution. So for the purification of the copper sulfate solution also, if you want to obtain the copper sulfate crystals, you will use this method, and by this method we can remove the impurities from the solution. So this is the question for you, and you have to write that answer. Why crystallization is better technique than evaporation? Why crystallization is better than evaporation? Okay, this is your question, and the other methods I will explain you next video. So you will make your notes. You will make your notes yourself. Then how can we separate this mixture? Like, you will also write the separation technique for mixture of first chalk and water. Second was the mixture of sand and water. So you have to explain the method of technique for separating these mixtures. And cream from the milk, cream and milk, and salt from water, sugar and water, and copper sulfate and water. So you have to answer yourself, how will you separate this mixture by different methods, and you have to also write the technique for separating them. It means the whole process, what will you do step by step, you have to write yourself. So okay, these are the 4 methods of separating the mixture of solid and a liquid. The remaining 2 methods, the chromatography and distillation, this is really new for you, so I will explain you in next video. Okay, then till then, bye.